is the priority. Why do you disagree?
Well, firstly, because you don't have a quarantine. I mean, people are going to be allowed to come in next week through Heathrow and Gatwick. They then get on the London Underground, the trains, the buses, the taxis to get to their destination. They can stop off in the supermarket. They can play a round of golf. There is no quarantine. The British government on its own website admits today that the form isn't even available. We, the airlines, contacted the government yesterday and said, you want our visitors to fill in this form next Monday, and you haven't even made available the form. So we said, when will the form be available? They said, we don't know. We said, what's in the form? They said, we don't know. And they want to have a meeting with the industry today and tomorrow to design a form that they want people to fill in next Monday. And when you do fill in the form, all that will be in it is your mobile phone number. And in the unlikely event that you're actually called by anybody from track and tracing, you could be on a golf course, you could be on the beach, you could be in the supermarket and say, yes, I'm complying fully with, I'm sitting at home quarantining. It is a completely non-scientific. This is a quarantine designed by Dominic Cummings for Dominic Cummings, who, as we all know, doesn't observe quarantines.
But Michael O'Leary, is your issue then with the enforcement of this? Actually, do you appreciate that the government's concerns about people coming into the country with coronavirus and then wanting to know how many people are doing that right now?
But there is no concern. If you're really concerned, I mean, most countries in Europe have a lower rate of coronavirus than the UK. So you're actually, I mean, which renders, as the scientific advice yesterday confirmed, renders the quarantine completely ineffective, even if you did trap people at the airport. Two, this is going to do untold damage to British tourism. The thousands of hotels and restaurants and guest houses all over the UK that depend on European visitors will be deterred by this useless and ineffective quarantine. And at a time, what we don't understand as an industry, at a time when all other European countries, Italy, Greece, Spain, Portugal, are removing restrictions, removing visitor restrictions, the UK is imposing them. Ryanair is going back flying on the 1st of July. We have 1,000 flights on sale per day from the 1st of July. Flights to Portugal, Spain, Italy, Greece. No visitor restrictions. The only restriction will be is when the British families return home from their holiday, they have to sign in a form that's completely useless, it isn't a quarantine, and it's a waste of time.
Well, there'll be a review of this on June the 29th, so I guess we'll see at the end of June what the next phase of this will be, if not before. What's the direct impact on your business then, Michael O'Leary? You mentioned there the UK travel industry. What is the effect on Ryanair on the UK having this quarantine for the next few weeks?
I think what's going to happen is they're going to significantly reduce the volumes of European visitors coming to the UK. There'll be no long-haul flights, but the European visitors going to the UK will be deterred, which is going to do untold damage to hotels, the massive UK tourism, British tourism industry, for no good reason. Whereas all the British families are already booking Ryanair flights to go abroad for their summer holidays in July and in August. Yeah. We're happy to carry them. And all we ask is that they wear face masks. So we don't understand as an industry why the British government doesn't follow the European science, which says it's perfectly safe to fly as long as you all wear face masks.
You say, Michael O'Leary, that people are booking flights with Ryanair in the months ahead, so you're getting cash in from new customers. Then why am I still getting messages this morning from customers of Ryanair saying we've started a refund process in March and I've still not got my money back for flights that have been cancelled? You're getting cash in now. You're Europe's biggest airline. Correct. How are people still waiting for that cash that they want?
Because we're dealing with an unprecedented record backlog of cancellations over a 3-month period from April, May and June. Normally in Ryanair we process about 10,000 refunds a month or a week. Currently, we have 35 million refunds to process. Now, the good news is we're about 40% of the way through that processing. We've already paid out more than nearly 500 million euros. We've another 600-700 million euros to go, about 60% of the refunds. We think we get through that over the next 10-12 weeks. So we're assuring everybody your refund is safe. If you want the cash refund, you'll get it. Just be patient because we have to process record backlog of cancellations caused by government measures. And we have limited staffing in our offices to issue these refunds, but they're on their way.
And just finally, Mr. O'Leary, there's been a recent poll from YouGov, you may well have seen it, of people in the UK about whether they back quarantine or not, and the majority of people do.
Except you don't have a quarantine, and your government doesn't even have a quarantine form published yet they want visitors to sign this next Monday. You don't have a quarantine in the UK. The science is clear. Wearing face masks allows people to fly safely. That's what the government should be imposing, not a useless, ineffective quarantine that allows everybody to travel freely across the UK with no more control than a mobile phone number, even if you were called by the track and tracing people in the UK, which we very much doubt you will.
Michael O'Leary, thank you very much, Chief Executive